This is a film that may be a bit more of local interest, local meaning the people in the New England area from which this show is generally based. It's a documentary from 2016 about a very popular New England grocery store chain, and it's called Food Fight: Inside the Battle for Market Basket. I never had a Market Basket near me, although growing up, the Demoulas and Market Basket were stores I saw advertised on the statewide TV channels. It wasn't until more recently that I lived places that had Market Basket grocery stores. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Market Basket is a regional New England grocery store chain that has been around in some form or another for decades. This documentary is about what happened when the board of directors decided to release from the company one of the family members who had been part of the company for years and who was very popular with the staff. Basically what happened was the employees organized they were a non-union shop, but they organized a large strike and walkout for a pretty extended period of time, and a work slowage to try to convince the board to get this guy, Arthur T. Demoulas, who everybody apparently loved, back in and reinstated as the head of the company. Also, they organized their customers to shop somewhere else. So this is just an interesting story of people who never had organized before, never had engaged in union strike activities, banding together and fighting what they believed to be the good fight for a long period of time to try to get what they felt was best for the company back in place. Is this film interesting to anybody who doesn't know what Market Basket is? That's a very good question. It was marginally interesting to me. It was more interesting to me because it's a chain that I had heard about, and I had heard about this thing happening when it happened. Had I not, I don't know if this would have been something that would have held my interest for the whole time. I think it's also probably of interest to people who are interested in labor issues, because that's what this is all about, and interested in grassroots movements to effect change peaceably with a minimum of profanity, which is actually an issue in the film. Watching the movie, it opens up with all of these Market Basket people, employees in the stores, saying how great the company is and saying how great this guy is. And it made me wonder how this film got the access it did, how the filmmakers got the access they did, when eventually it's saying really bad things about this company for a good portion of its running time. My assumption is that probably a lot of this stuff was shot after the film resolved the way that it did, when they had access to the stores. Because I don't think Market Basket as a company is going to be like, you want to come in and tell everybody how terrible our board is? Come on, we'll let you put the logo in the background. I don't think that was the case. That's just me thinking about structure and how the documentary was made. It's about an hour and a half. It does feature a coarse language. I'm really not sure how fascinating this is to anybody who is not from New England and knows the store or the story. I would be curious to know, if you've watched this movie and you live some far-flung place and have never heard of Market Basket, if it's interesting to you or not. The impression I got while watching it, not being intimately familiar with the company, was that this probably, for me, would have worked best as a short segment as part of like Dateline NBC or 60 Minutes or something. As an hour and a half, I felt like it was kind of padded out. That's just my vibe on the whole thing. But I think if you are somebody from New England or from our local broadcast area for the program Cinemaniacs, it's probably pretty interesting to you, because you probably know some of these players, and it's an interesting insight into a store that you have in your community, what its history was, how it was run, and how it is run. So available free if you pay for Amazon Prime, and available on physical media. Food Fight: Inside the Battle for Market Basket.